Did the cameras catch something millions of basketball fans believe should never have happened? That's the question exploding across the sports world after a controversial moment involving Caitlin Clark left viewers replaying the footage over and over again. Within minutes of the incident, social media lit up with slow-motion clips, heated debates, and one question that refused to go away: how was there no whistle? Fans pointed to the referee's position on the court, arguing the official appeared to have a clear view of the contact. Others insisted the play happened too quickly to judge in real time. As the video spread across every major sports platform, opinions became sharply divided, and suddenly the discussion wasn't just about one play, it became about consistency, player safety, and whether the WNBA's officiating standards are keeping pace with the league's growing spotlight. Then came another twist. Former players, analysts, and commentators weighed in with different perspectives. Some defended the difficult job officials face, while others argued the missed call highlighted a larger issue that has frustrated players and fans throughout the season. Every new replay seemed to fuel another wave of debate, with supporters on both sides convinced the evidence proved their case. Now, people are asking bigger questions than ever before. Should controversial calls be reviewed more aggressively? Does the league need stronger accountability for officiating mistakes? And has this single moment become the latest symbol of a much broader conversation surrounding the WNBA? In today's video, we're breaking down exactly what happened, why this play has generated such an enormous reaction, what respected voices around the game have said about the incident, and why this controversy continues to dominate basketball discussions. We'll separate confirmed facts from online speculation and examine why one sequence lasting only a few seconds has become one of the most talked about moments of the season. Because once you see every angle and hear every side, you may understand why this debate is far from over. To understand why this moment exploded across the basketball world, you have to look beyond a single play. This wasn't just about one missed whistle. For many fans, it felt like the latest chapter in a much larger conversation that has followed Caitlin Clark ever since she entered the WNBA. From the day she was drafted, Clark arrived with unprecedented attention. Record television audiences, sold-out arenas, and constant media coverage brought millions of new viewers to the league. Every game suddenly carried more attention than ever before, meaning every big play and every controversial decision would be examined from every possible angle. That spotlight has created enormous opportunities for the WNBA, but it has also increased the pressure on everyone involved. Players, coaches, officials, and league executives now know that a single controversial sequence can dominate sports headlines for days. Slow-motion replays, social media clips, and television debate shows ensure that every call is analyzed long after the final buzzer sounds. As Clark adjusted to the physical style of professional basketball, discussions about officiating became increasingly common. Some analysts argued she was receiving the same treatment every rookie experiences when entering a highly competitive league. Others believed defenders were testing the officials to see how much contact would be allowed before a whistle was blown. Those differing opinions created one of the biggest debates surrounding the season. Was the physicality simply part of professional basketball, or were certain plays crossing the line into unnecessary contact? That question resurfaced once again during the incident that sparked widespread discussion online. Video clips quickly circulated showing contact involving Clark during live action. Many viewers believed the officials should have stopped play immediately. Others argued that fast-moving situations are difficult to judge in real time and that replay footage often makes split-second decisions appear much easier than they actually are. As more camera angles appeared online, the debate only intensified. Some basketball fans focused their criticism on the officiating crew, pointing out where individual referees were positioned during the play. They questioned whether the contact should have resulted in a foul or whether the incident warranted further review after the game. Meanwhile, others urged caution, reminding viewers that officials must make decisions instantly without the benefit of slow-motion replay during live action. Former referees and analysts have often explained that positioning, player movement, and obstructed sightlines can all affect what an official sees in the moment. That difference in perspective became one of the biggest talking points. Adding even more attention to the discussion were comments from respected basketball voices who acknowledged that officiating is one of the most challenging responsibilities in professional sports. At the same time, several analysts suggested that consistency is essential, especially as the league continues to attract larger audiences and greater scrutiny. The conversation quickly expanded beyond one game. Instead of focusing solely on the individual play, fans began comparing it with other controversial moments from throughout the season. Compilation videos appeared online featuring hard fouls, missed calls, and physical sequences involving multiple teams and players. Supporters argued these examples showed a broader pattern, while others maintained that every incident should be judged independently. Regardless of which side people supported, one thing became clear: confidence in officiating had become a major topic of discussion. Coaches also entered the conversation after games, often emphasizing the importance of protecting players while still allowing physical basketball. Some stressed that the game should remain competitive, while others highlighted the need for consistent standards regardless of the players involved. That consistency became the central issue. For fans watching at home, the debate wasn't only about Caitlin Clark. It became a broader discussion about how the league balances physical defense with player safety, and how controversial decisions are reviewed after games conclude. Social media amplified every opinion. One clip would generate thousands of comments arguing the officials missed an obvious foul. Another post would defend the officiating crew, pointing out how quickly the play unfolded. Television personalities, podcast hosts, former athletes, and basketball writers all offered different interpretations, creating an endless cycle of discussion. With every new reaction, the original incident became less about one possession and more about the direction of the league itself. Supporters of Clark argued that star players deserve consistent protection under the rules. Others responded that every player should be officiated the same way regardless of popularity or media attention. Those competing viewpoints fueled passionate debates across basketball communities. As emotions continued to rise, league policies regarding post-game reviews and discipline also became part of the conversation. Fans wanted to understand how certain plays are evaluated after games, when contact can be upgraded upon review, and what standards determine possible fines or suspensions for players. At the same time, many observers emphasized that accountability should apply across the board, not only to players but also through continual evaluation and training for officials. Professional sports leagues regularly review officiating performance internally, though those evaluations are not always made public. That lack of transparency left plenty of room for speculation online. By the time the discussion reached national sports programs and major basketball podcasts, the incident had evolved into one of the season's most talked about officiating debates. Every replay seemed to generate another theory, another opinion, and another round of heated discussion. And just when it appeared the conversation might begin to settle, additional reactions from commentators, former players, and coaches ensured the story remained in the spotlight. Instead of answering every question, those responses introduced new ones about consistency, accountability, and the future of officiating in one of the fastest-growing professional sports leagues. With emotions running high and opinions sharply divided, the stage was set for the next phase of the controversy, where every statement, every replay, and every public reaction would be examined in even greater detail. The turning point came in a matter of seconds. During live action, Caitlin Clark became involved in a physical sequence that immediately caught the attention of viewers watching both inside the arena and at home. At full speed, the play moved on without an immediate whistle, but within moments, slow-motion clips began circulating online, with many fans arguing that the contact deserved a foul. Almost instantly, social media filled with side-by-side replays, freeze frames, and different camera angles. Basketball fans started asking the same question: did the officials simply miss the play, or did they judge that the contact did not warrant a stoppage? The discussion escalated because the incident happened in front of millions of viewers at a time when every Caitlin Clark game receives extraordinary attention. What might have been a brief talking point in another game quickly became one of the biggest stories in basketball. As the replay spread, commentators highlighted the difficulty officials face in making split-second decisions. Professional basketball moves at incredible speed, and referees must judge positioning, intent, and contact in real time without the benefit of slow-motion replay during the play itself. Still, many fans remained unconvinced. They pointed to the available video and argued that the contact appeared significant enough to justify a whistle. Others responded that replay footage can make decisions look much easier than they are from floor level. The disagreement wasn't simply about one possession anymore. It became a debate over consistency. Supporters of Clark argued that similar plays elsewhere had resulted in fouls being called. Others countered that physical basketball naturally produces borderline situations and that consistency should be evaluated over many games rather than a single play. The conversation grew even larger when basketball analysts began weighing in. Several former players acknowledged that officiating is one of the most difficult jobs in sports, while also emphasizing that player safety must remain a priority. They explained that mistakes can happen, but maintaining consistent standards across every game is essential for the league's credibility. That perspective shifted the conversation. Instead of asking only whether the officials made the correct decision, many observers began asking whether the league's overall officiating standards were being applied consistently from game to game. Meanwhile, coaches addressed the broader issue in post-game discussions. Some defended the physical nature of professional basketball, explaining that aggressive defense has always been part of the sport. Others stressed that officials have a responsibility to distinguish between legal physical play and contact that violates the rules. This difference in opinion fueled even more debate. Television panels revisited the play repeatedly. Basketball podcasts broke down the footage frame by frame. Fans paused videos, drew diagrams, and compared similar plays from earlier in the season. The incident had become much bigger than the game itself. Then came the first major twist. Rather than focusing only on the individual sequence, many analysts began connecting it to previous controversies involving physical play throughout the season. Highlight compilations appeared online featuring multiple hard-fought possessions from different games, leading some fans to argue that the incident reflected a broader concern about officiating consistency. Others strongly disagreed. They warned against treating unrelated plays as evidence of a larger pattern without considering each incident on its own facts. Every basketball game is different, they argued, and every officiating crew faces unique situations. This disagreement created two distinct camps. One believed the incident represented another example of inconsistent officiating. The other believed the controversy had grown larger because of the attention surrounding Caitlin Clark rather than because the play itself was unprecedented. That distinction became the center of the national conversation. As sports networks continued covering the debate, the focus shifted away from assigning blame to a single official and toward larger questions about how professional basketball reviews controversial calls, trains officials, and communicates with fans after disputed moments. Some observers suggested that clearer explanations following highly debated calls could improve public confidence. Others believed that increased transparency regarding officiating reviews would help reduce speculation after controversial games. The discussion also highlighted the pressure officials face in today's media environment. Years ago, a disputed call might have appeared once on a television replay before fading from public attention. Today, every angle is instantly clipped, slowed down, shared across multiple platforms, and analyzed by millions of viewers within minutes. That reality has fundamentally changed the conversation around officiating. Every close decision now lives far beyond the final buzzer. As emotions continued to build, one fact remained clear regardless of individual opinions. The incident had sparked one of the most widely discussed conversations of the season about player safety, officiating consistency, and the challenges of making real-time decisions in professional basketball. And with more reactions from coaches, players, analysts, and fans continuing to emerge, it became increasingly clear that this story was no longer about one possession. It had become a league-wide discussion that was far from over. Just when it seemed the debate couldn't get any louder, it did. What began as a single disputed sequence quickly transformed into a league-wide conversation about officiating, consistency, and player safety. The original clip continued circulating across social media, but the discussion was no longer limited to that one play. Fans began revisiting other controversial moments from throughout the season, comparing calls from different games and asking whether similar contact had been judged differently. Every new replay reignited the debate. Some viewers believed the available video clearly showed that a foul should have been called during the play involving Caitlin Clark. Others argued that replay footage viewed frame by frame can create a very different impression than what officials experience in real time on the court. Those two viewpoints quickly divided basketball fans. One side insisted the incident reflected a broader problem with consistency in officiating. The other argued that every close decision in Clark's games receives extraordinary attention because of the unprecedented spotlight surrounding her. Neither side appeared willing to back down. Sports talk shows devoted entire segments to the controversy. Basketball podcasts broke down the play from multiple angles. Former players discussed how difficult officiating is while also emphasizing that player safety must remain a priority. Several commentators pointed out that professional basketball has always been a physical sport. Contact is inevitable, especially between elite competitors battling for position. At the same time, they stressed that officials must consistently distinguish between legal physical defense and contact that violates the rules. That balance became the central issue. The debate also expanded beyond players and referees. Attention shifted toward the league itself. Many fans wanted to understand how controversial plays are reviewed after games. Questions arose about whether post-game evaluations lead to additional training for officials, whether internal reviews influence future assignments, and how leagues generally work to improve consistency over the course of a season. Although professional leagues routinely evaluate officiating internally, those processes are not always public. That lack of visibility left room for speculation online, with many fans calling for greater transparency whenever major controversies occur. The conversation then moved in another direction. Rather than focusing solely on officiating, analysts began discussing the broader challenge facing the WNBA as its audience continues to grow. Record television ratings and increased national attention mean that every major decision is now examined in extraordinary detail. A close call that might once have generated local discussion now becomes a national story within minutes. Every angle is clipped. Every replay is slowed down. Every opinion is shared thousands of times. That reality creates pressure not only for players and coaches but also for officials tasked with making split-second decisions in one of the fastest sports in the world. As the discussion continued, another important point emerged. Many experienced basketball voices reminded viewers that evaluating officiating should never become personal. Officials, like players and coaches, can make mistakes, and professional leagues continually review performance in an effort to improve consistency. They argued that criticism should focus on decisions rather than individuals. Others countered that accountability is an essential part of maintaining public confidence in any professional sport. According to that perspective, acknowledging controversial calls and working to improve future consistency ultimately benefits everyone involved. Despite these differences, one point attracted broad agreement. Player safety matters. Whether discussing Caitlin Clark or any other athlete, commentators repeatedly emphasized that all players deserve the same standard of protection under the rules. Physical competition is part of basketball, but maintaining consistent enforcement helps protect players while preserving competitive balance. As more voices joined the conversation, it became increasingly clear that the original incident had evolved into something much larger than one game's final result. It had become a case study in how modern sports debates unfold. A single sequence leads to multiple camera angles. Those clips spark social media discussion. Commentators add analysis. Former players contribute perspective. Fans compare similar plays. Television programs extend the debate. By the end of the cycle, one possession has become a national conversation. That is exactly what happened here. The incident involving Clark became a focal point for broader questions that had been building throughout the season. How physical should professional basketball be? Are the rules being applied consistently? Should leagues communicate more openly after controversial decisions? And how can officials maintain confidence while working under unprecedented public scrutiny? None of those questions has a simple answer. Yet the intensity of the discussion demonstrated how much interest now surrounds the WNBA. Every major moment carries greater significance because more fans are watching than ever before. In many ways, that increased attention represents tremendous progress for the league. It also means that controversial moments are unlikely to disappear. Instead, every disputed call will continue generating passionate debate across television, podcasts, and social media. And that may be the biggest takeaway of all. The story is no longer just about one whistle, or the absence of one. It is about the expectations that come with a rapidly growing sport, where every decision is examined in real time by millions of viewers, each bringing a different perspective. As the season continues, future games will undoubtedly produce more difficult decisions for officials, more physical matchups for players, and more spirited debates among fans. Whether those conversations ultimately strengthen confidence in the game or deepen existing disagreements will depend on how consistently the league, its officials, its teams, and its players continue to respond. One thing, however, is beyond dispute. This incident became one of the defining talking points of the season, not because everyone agreed on what happened, but because so many people passionately disagreed. As clips of the play continued to spread online, one thing became obvious almost immediately: nearly everyone had an opinion. Basketball fans, sports commentators, former players, journalists, and casual viewers all began analyzing the same sequence from different perspectives. The discussion extended far beyond the final score of the game and became one of the most talked about officiating debates of the season. On social media, the reactions reflected just how divided the audience had become. Many fans argued that the contact should have resulted in a foul. They pointed to replay angles and slow-motion footage, saying the officials appeared to have an opportunity to stop play. These viewers expressed frustration that controversial moments like this continue to dominate conversations after games instead of the basketball itself. Others urged people to remember how difficult officiating is in real time. Professional basketball moves at an incredible pace. Officials must judge positioning, legal guarding status, player movement, and contact in a fraction of a second. Supporters of that view argued that replay footage, while useful for analysis, often makes split-second decisions appear much easier than they actually are from floor level. This difference in perspective quickly created two competing narratives. One group believed the incident highlighted concerns about consistency in officiating. The other believed the reaction had grown disproportionately large because of the attention surrounding Caitlin Clark. Sports media also approached the story from different angles. Some analysts focused primarily on the mechanics of the play itself, breaking down player positioning and discussing how similar situations are typically officiated under WNBA rules. Others widened the conversation, asking whether the league should continue exploring ways to improve communication around controversial calls and post-game reviews. Former players added valuable perspective. Many acknowledged that basketball has always been a physical sport where hard contact is unavoidable. They emphasized that competitive intensity is part of what makes the game compelling, while also stressing that officials must consistently enforce the rules designed to protect players. Several commentators also reminded audiences that every player, regardless of experience, popularity, or role on a team, deserves the same standard of officiating. That message resonated with many fans. Rather than making the discussion about one individual, they argued that the broader issue involves maintaining confidence that the rules are applied consistently across every game and every team. Coaches, meanwhile, often struck a careful balance in their public comments. Many defended the competitive nature of professional basketball while acknowledging that controversial calls are an unavoidable part of the sport. They emphasized the importance of focusing on future games rather than allowing a single disputed sequence to become a distraction throughout the season. Basketball journalists also highlighted another important reality. Every officiating crew is evaluated after games through internal league processes. While those evaluations are generally not made public, professional leagues routinely review performance to identify areas for improvement. That context helped explain why some observers encouraged patience before drawing conclusions about any individual official based on a single incident. Even so, the conversation did not disappear. Each new television segment, podcast episode, and online discussion introduced another perspective. Some focused on rule interpretation. Others discussed the challenges of officiating increasingly fast and physical basketball. Still others examined how growing public interest in the WNBA has fundamentally changed the way controversial moments are covered. That may have been one of the biggest developments to emerge from the entire debate. The league's expanding audience means that virtually every significant decision now receives immediate national attention. Plays that might once have been discussed briefly are now examined from multiple camera angles by millions of viewers within hours. This heightened visibility brings both opportunities and challenges. Greater interest in the sport creates more passionate fan engagement, stronger television audiences, and increased media coverage. At the same time, it places additional scrutiny on every player, coach, and official involved in each game. The debate surrounding this play demonstrated exactly how quickly that process unfolds. A single sequence became countless discussions. Every replay generated new interpretations. Every broadcast produced additional analysis. Every opinion inspired further debate. Rather than fading after the final buzzer, the story continued evolving as more people joined the conversation. Despite the disagreement, one area of broad consensus emerged. Most observers agreed that consistency remains one of the most important goals for any professional sports league. Whether discussing basketball, football, baseball, or soccer, fans want similar plays to be judged similarly whenever possible. Achieving perfect consistency is extraordinarily difficult, but the expectation remains. That expectation explains why controversial calls continue generating such strong reactions across professional sports. Looking ahead, many analysts believe discussions like this will continue as the WNBA grows. Increased audiences naturally bring increased scrutiny, and every major game is likely to produce moments that are debated long after the clock reaches zero. In that sense, this controversy represents more than one disputed play. It reflects the reality of a league experiencing unprecedented attention, where every decision is examined, every replay is analyzed, and every significant moment becomes part of a much larger conversation about the future of the game. Whether fans agreed or disagreed about the officiating in this specific instance, the public reaction underscored one undeniable fact: interest in the WNBA has never been greater, and with that attention comes higher expectations for everyone involved, from players and coaches to officials and league leadership. As the dust began to settle, one thing became increasingly clear: the biggest story was no longer the play itself. Instead, the incident had evolved into something much larger, a conversation about how the WNBA handles physical play, officiating consistency, and the expectations that come with a rapidly growing league. The original sequence lasted only a few seconds. The debate that followed lasted much longer. Every replay seemed to generate another opinion. Every television discussion introduced another perspective. Every social media thread revealed just how divided basketball fans had become. Some viewers remained convinced the officials should have called a foul immediately. Others continued to argue that officiating fast-paced professional basketball is incredibly difficult and that split-second decisions will always produce disagreement. Neither side appeared ready to change its position. That may be what makes this story so significant. It isn't simply about determining who was right or wrong on one possession. It's about the larger challenge every professional sports league faces, balancing physical competition with player safety while maintaining public confidence in officiating. As more analysts reflected on the controversy, another important point emerged. Basketball has always been an emotional game. Players compete with tremendous intensity. Coaches fight for every possession. Officials make dozens of difficult decisions every night. In an environment that moves so quickly, even experienced referees can face situations that spark disagreement. But today's media landscape has changed everything. Years ago, a disputed call might have been discussed briefly before attention shifted to the next game. Now, every major moment is replayed from multiple angles within minutes. Fans slow videos down. Broadcasters analyze individual frames. Podcasts revisit the same sequence days later. That level of attention means controversial moments rarely disappear quickly. Instead, they become part of a much larger conversation. This incident followed that exact pattern. It started as one disputed sequence. It became a discussion about officiating. Then it expanded into questions about league standards, consistency, transparency, and player safety. Each stage attracted more attention than the last. And that's why the story continued long after the final buzzer. Perhaps the most interesting takeaway is that reasonable basketball observers can examine the same play and reach different conclusions. Some prioritize the available replay angles. Others emphasize the difficulty of judging contact in real time. Both perspectives have been part of the public discussion. That doesn't necessarily make either side unreasonable. It simply reflects the complexity of officiating elite-level basketball. Even so, many fans agreed on one broader point. They want consistency. Whether the game involves a superstar, a rookie, a veteran, or a reserve player, supporters expect the rules to be enforced as evenly as possible. Maintaining that confidence is essential for any professional league. As the season continues, every future nationally televised game will likely be viewed through that same lens. Whenever another close call occurs, comparisons to previous controversies are almost inevitable. That reality places additional pressure on everyone involved. Players know their actions will be replayed repeatedly. Officials understand every significant decision may become the subject of national debate. Coaches recognize that post-game questions may focus as much on officiating as on strategy. The league itself faces growing expectations from an expanding audience. Those expectations are, in many ways, a sign of progress. More viewers, more coverage, more discussion, more investment in the outcome of every game. With that growth comes greater scrutiny and greater responsibility. So where does the conversation go from here? That remains one of the biggest unanswered questions. Future games will undoubtedly produce more difficult officiating decisions. Additional physical matchups will test the limits of the rules. Fans will continue comparing similar plays across the season. Analysts will continue debating consistency. And every controversial moment will contribute to the ongoing discussion about how the game should be officiated. For now, the incident remains one of the defining talking points of the season, not because everyone agrees on what happened, but because it highlighted the different ways people interpret the same moment. The debate isn't really over. It's simply waiting for the next close call. And when that moment arrives, all eyes will once again be on the court, not just to see what the players do, but to see how the game is officiated, how the decisions are explained, and how the conversation continues to evolve. That next moment may not answer every question, but it will almost certainly start another one. Now it's your turn to weigh in. After seeing the footage, hearing the different perspectives, and looking at the broader conversation surrounding officiating and player safety, where do you stand? Do you believe the officials handled the situation correctly in real time, or do you think the play should have resulted in a different call? There's no question that this incident has sparked one of the biggest debates of the season, and that's exactly why we want to hear your opinion. Basketball fans often see the same play in completely different ways, and respectful discussion is part of what makes following the sport so exciting. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you were the referee in that moment, what decision would you have made? Do you think professional basketball needs more transparency when controversial calls happen? And what changes, if any, would you like to see regarding officiating consistency across the league? If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of the biggest WNBA stories, player performances, league developments, and the hottest basketball debates, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss our latest analysis whenever a major story develops. If you found this video informative, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps the channel reach more basketball fans who enjoy thoughtful discussion and detailed game analysis. Finally, if there's another controversial player, or WNBA topic you'd like us to cover next, let us know in the comments. We read your suggestions, and many of our future videos are inspired by what this community wants to see. Thanks for watching, thanks for being part of the conversation, and we'll see you in the next video as we continue following the biggest stories from around the WNBA season.